They told him it was just old age. Slow blood flow, weaker performance. That's normal after 60, the doctor said with a shrug. But just 3 months later, he landed in the ER with what looked like a heart attack. Only it wasn't his heart. It was blocked blood vessels down there. No one ever told him that poor circulation doesn't just affect your legs or your chest. It can quietly, silently, and devastatingly destroy your intimacy, your confidence, and your connection with the person you love.
Im dred junho.
For over 30 years, I've worked with thousands of men over 60 to help them regain not just their health and energy, but their sense of closeness, their masculinity, their identity. Let me tell you this right now. Aging is not the problem. The real problem is what nobody is talking about. It's what's stealing your vitality quietly year after year, and how simple changes, even something as humble as baking soda, can turn it around. I know, baking soda? Most people think it's just for cleaning a sink or baking banana bread. But when you use it like this, the way I'm about to show you, it can improve blood flow, relax stiff arteries, and support nitric oxide levels in the body. That means more warmth, more energy, and yes, more intimacy. And the best part? It's probably already sitting in your kitchen right now. Now, I'm not going to throw complicated medical jargon at you. What I will do is walk you through exactly how this works, why it's effective, and how to use it safely. Because if you use it the wrong way, especially at our age, it can backfire. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the simple method that's been quietly changing lives for men over 60 across the country. But before we go further, if practical, life-changing health advice like this matters to you, go ahead and hit subscribe and turn on the bell. That way, you won't miss the next powerful tip to help you feel stronger, more confident, and more in control of your health. And if this is resonating so far, just type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your feedback helps me keep these messages relevant, real, and useful for you. Let's start with the truth most men over 60 never hear from their doctors, and it's costing them more than they realize. The silent thief, how circulation steals your strength. The quiet decline in blood flow that begins in your 50s doesn't just affect your energy. It quietly chips away at your strength, your mood, and your ability to feel close to the person you love. At first, it's subtle. Colder hands and feet. Feeling winded sooner than you used to. Not in the mood as often emotionally or physically. But over time, it builds. Until one day you're not just tired, you feel like someone else. Like a dimmer version of the man you used to be. I remember a patient named Walter. He was 68. Married for 43 years. Retired. A good man. He came into my office and said, "Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore." His hands were cold even in the summer. He was falling asleep before the 10 o'clock news. And though he didn't say it outright, I could feel the weight he was carrying. When we talked more, he finally admitted something that took real courage. Intimacy has become awkward. Sometimes painful, not physically but emotionally. I feel like I'm fading from the man I used to be, and that broke my heart, because I see this all the time, and not enough people are talking about it. The hidden cost of poor blood flow. Let me tell you something no one ever told you when you turn 60. Blood flow is everything. When it starts to slow, the effects aren't just physical. They're personal, emotional, intimate. As we age, the lining of our blood vessels, the endothelium, starts to weaken. Arteries stiffen. And those small vessels, the ones responsible for warmth, energy, memory, and yes, arousal, start to close off. It's like a house where the lights are dimming, room by room. First it's energy, then it's sleep, then it's confidence, then it's connection. And worst of all, you begin to doubt yourself. I've seen men pull away from their wives, avoid affection, shrink into silence. Not because they stopped caring, but because their body stopped responding and no one told them why. But here's the truth. This decline is not inevitable. With the right support, blood vessels can regain flexibility and nitric oxide production can be restored. And that's where baking soda comes in, not as a gimmick, but as a simple tool. Baking soda, an overlooked ally. Harold was 67, a retired math teacher. Kind, quiet, exhausted. He'd tried it all: supplements, prescription pills, even strange gadgets off late-night infomercials. Nothing stuck. When I asked, "Do you have baking soda at home?" he laughed. "For cookies." Yes, but not just for cookies. Baking soda, when used the right way, can help restore the balance your body needs to function properly. Here's why it works. As we age, our bodies tend to become more acidic due to stress, diet, and kidney changes. That acidity tightens blood vessels. It starves cells of oxygen, and it wrecks circulation where it matters most. Baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, helps neutralize that excess acidity. It gently restores balance, allowing oxygen and blood to flow more freely. Used properly, this can lead to warmer hands and feet, more steady energy, a return of that inner spark where there's been silence. Harold started using it under my guidance. Just a small daily habit. Within 3 weeks, he said, "I don't know what it is, Doc, but I feel more like myself again." Of course, baking soda is not a miracle, but for many, it's the first domino, the thing that starts to tip the body back into balance. The risk of using it the wrong way. Let me be honest with you. I've seen baking soda help men reclaim vitality, and I've seen it hurt men who used it carelessly. Dennis was 70, active, still golfing. He read online about baking soda and started taking a full teaspoon twice a day. Within a week, he was in the ER with bloating, blood pressure spikes, and confusion. Why? Because baking soda isn't a toy. It's a compound that affects your body's internal chemistry, especially pH levels, sodium load, and fluid balance. And at this stage in life, your body is finely tuned. Too much sodium, even natural, can upset your heart rhythm, cause swelling, and trigger dangerous blood pressure swings. That's why I tell every patient, natural doesn't mean harmless. Water is natural, but too much of it too fast can still hurt you. So if you're serious about feeling better, respect your body, respect the method. And that brings me to the safest, most effective way to begin. How to use baking soda the right way. Here's the protocol I give to my patients. Start small. Just 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Stir it into a full glass of water. Drink it on an empty stomach, ideally first thing in the morning. That's it. Not twice a day. Not a bigger spoon. Just once. Small. Consistent. For most men, this gentle start allows the body to adjust, to breathe, to respond. One of my patients, Ray, 74, was struggling with cold hands, slow mornings, and no energy. Within 3 weeks of this simple protocol, he said, "Doc, I feel steady again, and I'm not freezing all the time." But here's a critical tip. Hydration matters. Baking soda works best when your body is well hydrated. That means drinking water regularly throughout the day, not just when you feel thirsty. Better hydration equals better circulation equals better response in all areas. And if you're on blood pressure, heart, or kidney medication, always check with your doctor first. Not out of fear, out of respect for the life your body has lived and the strength it still holds. Frank's story, the spark returns. There's a man I'll never forget. Frank. He was 76, widowed, quiet, a former mechanic with strong hands and a soft voice. He came to me after a friend told him about baking soda. He wasn't looking for a miracle. He just wanted to feel a little more like himself again. We started the protocol. 1/4 teaspoon, morning, empty stomach, full glass of water. He added one more thing, an afternoon walk, just 15 minutes. 3 weeks later, he came in with tears in his eyes. "Doc, I didn't think I'd feel this way again. Not at my age. I feel warm. I feel alive. And my wife would have smiled seeing me now." That's the power of small steps done right. That's the power of listening to your body. That's the power of hope. If this message touched you, share it with a friend, a brother, a father who might need it. And if you're ready for more tips like this, subscribe, tap the bell, and let me know in the comments. Because growing older doesn't mean growing colder. It means growing wiser and knowing how to care for the body, mind, and heart that have carried you this far. You're not done. You're just getting started. Let's walk this journey together,